Ready to discuss the Odyssey, sir?
I am.
Tell me what you remember.
Action! Christopher Nolan returns to cinemas with his most ambitious film yet, an adaptation of the Odyssey.
Does this mean you will come back?
Nolan's take on the Greek epic, set over 3,000 years ago, has a lot of people excited. Why? Well, there's a few reasons. 1, it's a massive summer blockbuster. 2, it's a full circle moment for Nolan. And 3, if you love cinema, or even just love stories, you should probably care about the Odyssey. I'll let Nolan explain.
At first sight, you look at the poem and it feels very alien. It feels of another time, another society. You're very conscious of the differences. And then as you engage with the text and as you engage with the story, suddenly you start to realize that no, nothing's changed. These are primal, elemental storytelling things and ideas about society. And that's why Homer sustains.
Is it impossible to overstate its importance on storytellers such as yourself?
I think it is impossible to overstate. In adapting it, you start unpacking the mechanism, you start unpacking the story modules, models, and the tropes. And of course, as a filmmaker, what you suddenly realize is everything I've done in the past that I thought was stunningly original, all the rest, all derives from Homer, from the Odyssey. It's all stories combined. It's, a family story. It's a coming home story. It's a coming of age story. It's about war and love and death and all of these things so important to us as human beings.
It also underpins many incredible movies. Without the Odyssey, we might not have 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Wages of Fear, Apocalypse Now, After Hours, The War, Lord of the Rings. Cinema owes Homer a great debt. That includes Nolan too. A complicated man, a forgotten story, an improbable journey, a homecoming, a story of the horrors of war, a story of the horrors after war, and civilization on the brink. Many roads have led Nolan back to the Odyssey. There's this sort of circular nature of you being able to play your greatest hits in a way.
Oh yeah.
The Odyssey is all about time. The poem is non-linear, folding back on itself like Memento, Dunkirk, and Tenet. It frames stories within stories, like Inception. It stretches and contracts over many years, like Oppenheimer and Interstellar. Understandably, Nolan told me he didn't want to overcomplicate the writing process.
I don't let myself start writing for many months. I take notes, I draw diagrams, I think of the film in more abstract terms. Ironically, for somebody who tends to work often in non-linear structural terms, I do start with page 1 and I do just write through to the end.
Back to the big themes. The Odyssey is also a love story. Odysseus is trying to return to his wife Penelope and their son Telemachus, who he hasn't seen for 20 years. It's a love undimmed by space and time, like Cobb, Leonardo DiCaprio's dream thief in Inception, or Cooper, the astronaut played by Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar.
It might be a real good time for you to come back.
They also just want to get back to their families. Why is this something you return to? And I hope I'm not overstepping the mark yet, but has your family ever asked you about this?
No, the family's, starting with Emma, who produces all the films, is so involved with the production. Actually, all 4 of my kids worked on the Odyssey, so no, they've never bothered to ask about it. For me, it's fairly straightforward. I mean, I work in a field where the work becomes at times all-consuming, and it carries you away from your family and around the world. Emma and I have done a very good job of taking our family with us as we've worked, but even that's not possible all the time. And so certainly, like so many people, so many parents, I have found a lot of my adult working life drawing me away from the family, and that yearning to get back and that feeling of time spent away is precious time lost. It's something I think as parents we all share that feeling.
As for Odysseus, one of the versions of the poem begins, "Tell me about a complicated man." That's an understatement.
The character of Odysseus is quite challenging because, I mean, the term most often associated with Odysseus historically is wily. And that's not a characteristic you associate with the hero at the center of a story. And he's more Han Solo than Luke Skywalker. So the challenge is, okay, how do you take the audience with him on this journey with all of those characteristics? I think a big part of that is finding somebody like Matt Damon, who is such an incredible actor and a wonderful movie star with charisma, with empathetic ability. You trust him. He's able to gain your trust.
How do you feel that Odysseus fits in with maybe your other complicated men in films past?
Well, I think the relationship with Oppenheimer is an interesting one. It wasn't something I was that aware of as I was working on the adaptation.
We won the war. I feel that I have blood on my hands.
With every film leading character that I've sort of dealt with, I feel like if I've done my job right and I've fully engaged, I'm left with unanswered questions. I'm left with themes that rattle around, these sort of resonances that you want to carry into the next work. And with the Odyssey, certainly by the end of it, I found a lot of interesting parallels and interesting connections between the figure of Odysseus and the figure of Oppenheimer.
Two stories, millennia apart, sharing the same DNA. The Odyssey isn't some dusty old poem. Its plot and literary devices echo through history.